All right, questions, guys, ladies?
It was a short week, obviously. What did you guys want to get done this week, and kind of what was your message as you gave your guys some days off?
Yeah, the message today was kind of like it doesn't get easier. I think some of us sometimes, in life we start to look for the light at the end of the tunnel. And, this is just the beginning. Spring practice will never be this easy again. When I say easy in a good way, like we'll get better and better and better. Just worry about the next play and try to get that mindset instead of, hey, let me get through this and get to, a couple days off here that I gave the guys this weekend. So, they've had 5 days. I told them to come back Tuesday, ready to go. I really believe one of the greatest gifts we can give these guys as they go on to be, pro athletes or pros and whatever they choose to be, is the self-awareness to own your work ethic, right? So we have a lot of guys who make mistakes on the practice field, and I told them, hey, you have a playbook, you have video, go study. So you get to the National Football League, and you get cut on Monday and you get signed by somewhere on Wednesday. Christian McCaffrey, he got traded on Thursday. I think he played that weekend, or pretty soon thereafter. So can you learn things really quickly? So just a challenge to those guys to take care of their bodies over the next week, over the next couple of days, learn the playbook better. And then we believe that any place a Nebraska football player shows up, it should be a better place. So to do things right and do things really well the next couple of days and show back up on Tuesday.
When it comes to the playbook, how much do you want their heads in the playbook over these next 5 days so the retention is there Tuesday when you come back?
Yeah, I think it's individual to each guy, right? It takes what it takes. And so, there's some, one of the most dangerous things is when guys kind of know what to do, so they can kind of do it. Like, you can't figure out how to do your job until you know what your job is. And so we have a lot of guys still at that level one, like trying to learn what it is. And we can make excuses for them, but we're just trying to change the expectation level of our guys, right? Like, we're not here to try hard. We're not here to lose and thank the fans. We're here to win. And so winning, it happens now. It doesn't happen in the fall. So the guys who really know their jobs really well, the guys who we got some walk-on players who should probably be on scholarship. So it's like, you are what you produce. And so I just want the guys to understand, like, hey, I own the way I practice. Someone has a phone call here. I own the way that I practice. I own the way that I prepare. I own the result, right? And so the whole, like, coach didn't give me a chance, or, coach, trying to get rid of all that. I think when you give that gift to young people that we're in control of our futures, they can take off.
Did you have a chance to make any assessments based off what you saw on film from your scrimmage Saturday, specifically about how your quarterback plays?
Yeah, I thought that was the best the quarterbacks have played. All right, guys, I see that. I see who's loyal to me. I thought the quarterbacks played that's the best they've played. It's the absolute best they've played. And I think they needed that. They needed those live reps, right? Just like, when they can get hit to speed up their process. We started practice off today, man. We came right out of stretch, and we went quarterbacks live down inside the 5-yard line. And what you find out is when you do that, they don't really get hit that often. But it just speeds up their process. So a lot of things for us right now are like just a little bit off timing-wise. And what I love about our group is they're not making excuses. Like, you're used to throwing this route with this guy, and all of a sudden this guy's in. You have to figure it out. So I thought they played well in the scrimmage. Today was a much better day for probably the defense than the offense. The defense was significantly better today. So I'd like to just kind of, hopefully we keep volleying it back and forth as opposed to one side being more dominant than the other.
Matt, we have some tight ends up here, Coach Wager. What would you say about that group so far through the spring and what you've seen?
Yeah, it's one of our more talented groups. Fedoni's like, I kind of have always had like a couple guys like, that I'm trying to like really work with. And Fedoni's kind of one of my guys, man. I really like the guy. He's so competitive. He's so driven. And sometimes when you're driven, it drives you all over the place. Like, you just can't stand when it just doesn't come right away. And that's what I love about him, right? Like, I'm a little bit wired that way. The best players I've been around are wired that way. So just, I've tried to limit him even more than we've limited him, and he fights me every time. So I just love his competitive nature. Eric is just really, really talented and a big physical presence. Borgacher and Lindenmeyer are two guys, that have walked on here that play like scholarship players. They would have started for me at a lot of places I've been. They can start here, I believe. So really like those guys and what they've done. Applegate coming back off the injury. Really been pleased with him. and the rest of the guys just they battle. So really like the group. I think it's one of our stronger positions. And then we brought Bonner over. He's kind of like a Weapon X hybrid type of a guy. And he had class. I know you guys want to interview him, but he had class, and so he had to leave for that. But he's kind of one of those hybrid guys that I think with what Sat's done at some places he's been, some of the things I've done, we can use him in a lot of different ways.
When it comes to Fedoni, how tough is it to not really turn him loose so he can really test your defense if you are able to turn him loose?
I pretty much have, honestly. He didn't, maybe not all the live stuff all the time, but even today he got a little live work. So I kind of have relented on it a little bit. I have to trust him with his body and how he feels. He's cleared. I feel like he's come a long way. I think for him, it's always hard learning new offenses and finding that niche. I think he's starting to really find that niche. Great seam runner for us. Has made some big plays in the 2-minute. Tenacious blocker. So for me, what I don't want, and it's kind of how 18 to 22-year-old brains work nowadays. Probably always, right? They're always looking at today as if it's a finished product, and I can see what they're going to be, right? So to me, it's just a building progression to get there. Really happy with where all those guys are at, to be quite honest. I think that can be a real weapon for us, that whole room.
And you talked about the coaching staff holding each other accountable. Why is that important? Do you see any trickle down to the players?
I don't know the coaching staff. I think my job is to coach the coaches, right? And I think we believe that on the football field, iron sharpens iron. So I think if things aren't being done the way they're supposed to, if we say we're going to do something, it doesn't happen. Whether it's a coach or player, the way we went, everyone, how coaches always come out after games and say we just have to execute better. What does that mean? It means everyone's got to do exactly what they're supposed to do. So I think the players appreciate that the coaches get held accountable. I think they appreciate when I say I'm wrong, and ultimately, I'll get held accountable. So again, we are, and we really strive to be, we are a caring, not coddling environment. I say that to the guys all the time. Caring, not coddling. We are where top producers go to be with other top producers. We want to be with the best of the best. And so if we have a bunch of coaches who are sensitive and coaching staffs who argue with each other, then that's what the players are going to do. So the best thing we can do is just model what it means to be a Lion out there.
Matt, what about Miles Turner? We talked to him. What have you seen him leadership-wise and then on the field?
Yeah, Miles, you can turn a team into a good team when your best players, they buy into the things that, not only that everyone buys into the things that they like, can they buy into the things that they don't like? Can they buy into the things that don't make sense? So Miles is one of those guys who, first guy here, part of his edge, which I love, is to be a little bit chippy, and he's gotten to the point now where he understands, hey, let me coach you. And so Miles is one of my favorite guys to be on the field with. He's physical, he's competitive, but he's bought into a lot of the small details, whether it's the classroom, whether it's the way we communicate with each other. And if I can get more and more of the other guys to do what Miles has done, we'll have a chance to have a good team.
Hey, Coach, Gilbert's a guy that has to have a waiver. Can you talk about that process and when you might know he's
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know the timing. Honestly, those things are always. No, I don't. I can't. I don't want to say anything about it. I just don't know. It's completely out of my hands. So, I'll just say this: when I took Eric, I told him, I said, hey, this is a long-term play for you, and in your future. So if it works out where he can play this year, which I believe he should be able to, then great. And if he can't, then we're going to help him get ready for next year or for the NFL. So, I've seen a lot in football, and I just think there are a lot of these guys. They just need someone to give them a chance, a real chance, and do things the right way. And so I like him a lot. So we're doing that. He's doing excellent in school. Great kid. So I hope it works out for him.
We asked Coach White last week about the word intentional. We heard it used a lot throughout practice. Is that a word you introduced to the team and coaching staff? And if so, what exactly does it mean to you?
Yeah, we talk a lot about intentionality. That's something Terrence Knighton always talks about. The way I phrase it is we believe in two types of practice. We believe in deliberate practice and deep practice. And I always tell the guys, if you can't hit a driver, do you go to the golf course and work on your putting? No, right? So you work on the things you need to work on. So we want guys to be very intentional, right? Very intentional about what they're working on. Very intentional about being in the moment. We don't want to waste their time. Right, so a lot of times you can just say, "Hey, be here for 3 hours." We practiced a long time. We just practiced for over 2.5 hours, right? Which is not really what people do nowadays. But that's intentional because I want to teach them how to concentrate for a long time. Some days we'll practice for an hour and a half, right? But right now we're trying to teach them how to concentrate for long periods of time. So I just think, being intentional about everything. I'm happy to always explain the why to the guys. Like, hey, coach, why are we doing this? 100%, I'll tell you why. So if that's one of the basic things in our program, just being really intentional about everything that we do so we can get the desired result in the long run.
Bryce Benhart's a guy who's played a lot of college snaps. What do you see about with his possibilities and just what he means to that group as a veteran guy?
Yeah, I said it the other day. I think I said it the other day. Like, I think Bryce is an NFL player. There's no doubt to me about that. I think with what we're doing, the way we're playing, I think it's going to turn Bryce loose. I think a lot of those guys, and I'm not throwing it on it. I think a lot of them kind of been beat down. Like I said, the narrative is the O-line's terrible, and so they hear that a lot. And so I think Bryce, like all those guys on the offensive line, just has to play with great confidence, right? Confidence is not, no matter what, confidence is not, in my opinion, just my humble little opinion, not telling your kids, hey, you can do anything in life, right? Like I love my mom, but my mom never told me I could do anything in life, And so we tell our kids sometimes they can do things they can't, and it actually backfires a lot, in my opinion. So to me, confidence comes from elite preparation, right, and doing it day after day. That's why we go ones on ones every day. We don't go ones on twos, ones on threes. We go ones on ones, so that Jamari, one of our best pass rushers, or Judy, or whoever's working on Bryce every day and working on Piper every day, and so that they all just keep saying, hey, we're getting better because iron sharpens iron. So a lot of these guys, the key for how the season will go, because people always ask me how the season will go, and we have the coaches we have the players we have. A lot of it will come down to confidence, right? A lot will come down to at what point do they believe they can really win? When I say believe, we all say we believe, but when you're down 17-7 in the second quarter, the great teams that played here probably laughed and then took it 170 yards, made it 17-14. The other team had a lot of pressure on them. When we start playing with confidence, whether that's next week or in 2 years, we'll be a good team. So I say that about Bryce. I look at him. I see an NFL player. I see an all-conference caliber player. The question is, what does he see? And I say that for a lot of guys, not just him. Piper, Nori, all those guys, man. That offensive line is as talented as one as I've been around in college football in terms of as a head coach. Are they going to believe it, and are they going to put it together? So that's why we're trying to practice the way we're practicing right now.
One or two more, Coach? Matt, you've got a handful of early enrollees who are new to college football in general, not just the system. How do you like how their development is going?
Yeah, normally you notice that they're early enrollees, but Cam Lenhart and Prince Will spent a lot of time on our first string. They are outstanding players. Boodle's finally been cleared to practice full time, and he's just got a great feel. When you recruit guys, sometimes you don't know the feel that they have, and I guess when you come from his lineage, you can expect it. But he's out there. He made a great play on the goal line today, and so Gunnar Gatula is out there. That's the hardest position. Hey, be an O lineman. Oh, by the way, go play left tackle, and be running with the second unit. And I think he's done an excellent job. Excellent job. So I probably forget Maverick Noonan's natural pass rusher, great feeling for it. So I've never really noticed, right? Hey, these guys are all early enrollees. They just kind of fit in. Is there anybody else I'm missing? I don't think so. They kind of all fit in. And again, that's why I talk about some of the walk-on players that we have. I never noticed that, hey, he's a walk-on, right? We got a bunch of guys that I know could help us. So Herbeck's been playing his tail off, right? So, we try to look at everybody and just kind of where they are right now. And I think those early enrollees are going to help us. And maybe they won't help us this year. I hope so. Who knows? That's why I always say, I wait all the way till training camp to kind of make those decisions, because some guys are going to make huge jumps in the summer, and some guys won't.
Coach, to clarify, are you guys shut down until Tuesday morning, or will you have other?
Oh, we have tonight. We have a team event every Thursday night. Every Thursday night we do something with the guys can bring their girlfriends or a family member. We bring our families. Those of us who have families here. Tonight we're doing home run derby at the softball field with a dinner. I can promise you, before cell phones, I would have tried to hit a ball, but now with cell phones, you can't because everything goes viral. And then tomorrow we have meetings and liftings, and then I expect them all to go to class. And then they're shut down Saturday, Sunday. We have the training room open Saturday, mandatory for some guys, optional for others, depending on where they are status-wise. Sunday they're off, like they always are. Then Monday we'll be right back 6 a.m. lifting and meetings. So I just meant more on the field. But yeah, hopefully guys have a chance to get away a little bit and or just kind of kick it here. Who knows? Like watch the Masters like I'll do. So anybody else? No injury questions. That's awesome. Thank you.